Thank you, Cerebral, for sponsoring today's video. Cerebral is a mental health online platform that helps clients manage anxiety, insomnia, depression, and so much more. They help treat your mental health by pairing it with medication and therapy. They're individualized treatment plans that work for you, and the great thing about it is it's all for a flat monthly fee, and you can meet your care counselor on your phone on the couch. Treatment for ADHD, bipolar, and PTSD are also available in some states. If you guys have been following me for any length of time at all, you know that I struggle with mental health conditions like PTSD and ADHD, and Cerebral helps me manage my own mental health. And the cool thing about the app that they use is that there are so many exercises on this app, like cognitive behavioral therapy and tools that you need to help manage your mental health in your day-to-day life. You can message your care counselor right from the app as well. It's kind of like having a counselor in your pocket. The great thing about Cerebral is it's a plan specifically based on what you need. Now that could look like medication and care counseling, medication and therapy, or just therapy. And it's affordable, and that is really freaking important. If you would like to take the next steps on working on your mental health, click the link in the description box of this video. Your first month starts for just $30. What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So as you can tell by the title, we're gonna be doing a Q&A, and I'm gonna be answering all of your questions. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has served time in prison. And my entire crazy life story is in the description box down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever gonna be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel. Go subscribe to that channel.
It really freaking helps.
You guys are not gonna wanna miss the wedding content that I'm about to post on that channel, so make sure you're subscribed. All right, without further ado, let's kick this thing off. Did they expire? Oh my God, did these expire? Oh fuck, how do I get back to the questions? Oh, that was scary, man. I felt like I was having a heart attack. Would you ever try bangs? So I have curtain bangs and they're like long and I don't know what to do with them because I can't ever style my hair, but I do like a side, you know what I mean? Like a side bang a little bit. I'm just not really feeling how my hair looks these days. It's like the front of my hair. So I would try a different style of bang. The reason why it's so long is because I have extensions in that we're about to take out and I'm gonna put my old extensions in. I know that makes no sense, but my last extensions were shorter and they were just for volume. These long extensions, oh girl. I don't know what to do with all that hair.
I don't know, what am I supposed to do with him?
So I'm about to take these out and put my old ones back in for volume, and then I'm gonna save the long ones and put them back in for the wedding. Could you go to Disneyland being a felon but hasn't reoffended in a decade? What kind of felon are you? If you're asking if you can go to Disneyland. If you're not allowed to be around children, no, you can't go to Disneyland. The questions I get sometimes, y'all. Do you notice any movement in your teeth yet? I really, really don't. I know you guys said that you've noticed. I don't notice the movement, and if you're confused about what we're talking about, I have Invisalign, so I have been posting updates on my vlog channel. I will link it on the card up here, so go check that out if you want to see Invisalign updates. First thing you did out of the clank. The first thing I used to do when I first got out, first thing I wanted to do was eat some food. That was usually McDonald's, and I wanted to smoke a blunt and get drunk or get high or party or whatever. So that was like the first thing I wanted to do. When I changed my life, I actually had someone pick me up from prison last time, and I went to hibachi and was very, very normal. And then I went to the halfway house and I threw up the hibachi, I'm pretty sure. Do you feel judged for your journey? Yes and no. So I feel judged on the internet, but in real life, no one has ever said anything negative to my face. Usually when people hear my story, they're super proud of me and they're very kind and not judgmental at all to my face. I've never had a bad experience with someone sitting down with me, hearing my story, and judging me. They're usually really interested in what I have to say. So I'm actually gonna do a skit for TikTok about this, but like when I was meeting, you know, Reese's coworkers years and years ago, they would hear my story and they were so kind and very interested and had a lot of questions, but I never felt judged. Do you want more kids? Stop it. So this is a question that I get every single day. I don't think I have ever had one day on the internet in 3 years where someone hasn't asked me if I want more kids. And the thing with that is we struggle with secondary infertility. So We've wanted a third child for like 4 or 5 years. It's not happening for our family. So I would just kindly like to ask you to no longer ask women if they want kids or if they want more kids. Unless you plan on showing up with a bottle and a pack of diapers at 2 a.m., it's none of your business. And I'm saying that because you never know what someone's going through. Maybe they just had a miscarriage. Maybe they don't want to have kids, which is freaking normal. Normalize people not wanting kids. Kids are hard. It's so hard. Being a parent is so hard. So normalize people not wanting kids, you know? It's totally fine. Maybe they had a miscarriage. Maybe they struggle with infertility. Maybe they just don't freaking want to. Maybe their mental health won't allow it. Maybe their financial situation won't allow it. Maybe they don't want to use their uterus for that because Lord, is that hard. Moving on. Does Micah call your fiance dad? I'm assuming that this question is from someone that is relatively new, but Micah has only ever known Reese and I. So Micah came home when she was almost 2.5, almost 3. She called him Reese at first, and then over the years, I think right around the time we were having Riley, so Micah was 4 when we had Riley. That's when she started calling Reese dad. She is now 9 years old. I know that Reese did not biologically make Micah, but soon, legally, he will be her father. He is adopting her. What do you think about Euphoria? Oh my God, so many of you guys have asked me to watch this show. I've just been so busy. I'm gonna watch it. I'll do a full video on it, I promise, because it is so highly requested and you guys are like on me to watch it, so I know it must be good. If you guys keep asking and keep telling me to watch it, I know it's good. I trust y'all. Tattoo tour, what's your favorite? The one that hurt the most? I think I did a tattoo tour on TikTok, but I can do a full tattoo tour on my vlog channel if you want. I would say my favorite tattoo at the moment, it changes, is my newest one. I feel like that's pretty common. Like for people that are like sleeved out and have mad tattoos, whatever is the new tattoo is probably their favorite at the moment. But this is my new tattoo. It is a raccoon and it doesn't have a name. So if you guys want to help me name this raccoon, drop some suggestions. Were you ever worried about HIV? Is that something users discuss pretty openly? Didn't care at all. I would have shot drugs with toilet water. I did not care. It's not something that I thought about. It's not something that I talked about. I didn't care. And that's what's so hard for people that are not addicts. You know, people are like, oh, don't do drugs because you're gonna go to prison. Bro, we don't care about that shit. We don't give a fuck about any of that. We don't care about prison. We don't care about our own death. I was not afraid to die, so I'm not gonna be afraid to go to prison. I'm not afraid to die. And that's what I think is so hard for family members of addicts. Like, how do you get through? I don't know. Everyone's different, but I believe in supporting them and encouraging them. I believe in harm reduction. I believe in not enabling them, but loving them. Tough love does not freaking work most of the time. I don't care what anyone says. Kicking someone to the curb and kicking them down, ostracizing them from your family, disconnecting them from your life, that is not the way to get someone's attention. When I was in active addiction, I remembered the people that didn't judge me. I remembered the places where I felt safe, and that's where I went. The people that were gonna yell at me and judge me and scream at me and cry all over me and kick me out, those are not the people that I wanted to go near. So then when I got in recovery, those were the people that I reached out to first, and those are the people I wanted to share it with, the people that believed in me and loved me and like made me a sandwich sometimes and treated me like a human being. What is your degree in? So I have a bachelor's degree in correctional program support services, and my associate's degree is in psychology. What was it like when on the run? Oh my God. I had to do so many drugs to not think about it. I was constantly looking over my shoulder, but the more I did it, the more comfortable I felt. So when I was on parole and running from New York and doing all the crazy things I was doing, I knew that once I was outside of New York, as long as cops didn't run my name, I was okay. So the more I did that, which I don't recommend, don't do it, I was more comfortable with it. So I would travel on this crazy magazine crew. I don't know if you guys have ever seen American Honey, but I would travel the country. We'd stay in one city for 2 weeks at a time and then go to a new city. So over time, I got more comfortable to do that. And it wasn't like I was alone. I was with a crew of like 50 people. So I felt insulated, if that makes sense. But also I knew at any moment my time is up, and that's something that you have to accept on the run. Actually, that's something you have to accept if you're gonna live that lifestyle. Eventually your time is gonna come to an end. Eventually you are going to go to prison. And it's something I accepted as a baby, like a young teenager. I knew that I was going to go to prison. So eventually they catch you. They always do. Does Reese sing to you? No. I mean, maybe sometimes if there's like a song on while I'll sing. Right now my kids love Dance Monkey. They will sing that song 1,000 times over and over again. They love that song, and sometimes we sing together. Smoke sesh. Okay, you guys have been asking for a long time. I'm gonna do it for Patreon. Oh my God, I've never filmed myself when I was stoned, never filmed myself smoking. I filmed a Patreon about what my favorite strains are, and I kind of showed you guys, but I've never filmed smoking. I'm so awkward, but I'll do it. I'll do it for you guys. The reason why I won't do that for YouTube or Instagram or TikTok is because I don't want someone to accidentally stumble on it. I'm going to do it on Patreon, and I'm going to announce that it's coming out. That way you don't click on it and feel triggered. So that was my idea. Like, I don't want people to see me stoned and be triggered or upset by that. Have you ever questioned your sexuality? The short answer to this is yes, and I actually have a video that I will be making eventually. After my relationship with Steve, I didn't want to be with a man. I didn't want to be with men, and honestly, for years and years, I hated men, but I'm so attracted to them. It's not fair. That's how you know. People don't choose to be gay, bro. Because I would have chosen to be gay. I mean, have you seen women? Have you seen women? You don't choose it. I wouldn't have chosen men. Just no offense. No offense, guys. But women, am I right? So I'm gonna make a video about something like that in the future. What app do you use to edit your videos? So I use Filmora. It's so easy. And then for thumbnails, I hire someone. But if I'm gonna make it myself, which I'm super bad at it, I use Adobe Photoshop for my thumbnails. And then for video editing, I use Filmora because it's just so easy. Filmora, everything makes sense. Adobe is like torture. It's like torture, you know? It's not good, not a good vibe. I know you guys wanna know who I am and who I am not friends with, you know, and I've just learned not to try to squeeze myself in places I don't fit. Life is kind of like a puzzle, and if my puzzle piece is a jigsaw puzzle piece and I'm trying to fit myself in like a 8-piece kids puzzle, but I'm a jigsaw puzzle piece, I'm not gonna fit there. And I'm not gonna keep trying to fit in places that I don't belong. I'm not gonna go around circles that are negative and draining, or around people that I have to downplay my success to, or people that I'm afraid to be happy around because they'll shit all over it, you know? So, but also as adults, friendships kind of have seasons, you know? So there are tons of people that I love, but I don't live in the same state as, you know? There are tons of people that I adore and I would love to see every single day. Like, you know, JC from Wrong to Strong, I would love to see him every single day. I would love to see Christina every single day. You know, she's so incredible and I'm so proud of her journey. I would love to see her every day and annoy the crap out of her, but we don't live in the same state, you know? And that's what's super tough, that everyone's an adult, you know, with kids and jobs and families, and you know, it's so hard to stay friends with people. So sometimes friendships have seasons, or sometimes, you know, people get busy and you can't see each other as often as you like. So more often than not, that's a situation. Like, especially with content creators, like, man, we're so busy. For me, like, I have multiple jobs. I'm a full-time content creator for YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and I am recording a new podcast, and I'm working on a memoir, and I have kids and dogs, and I'm planning a wedding, and like, my own family is like, where are you? Why are you not texting us back? So like, I'm beyond stressed. And I think that is so common. So like, just because you don't see me taking selfies with people all the time doesn't mean I'm not friends with them. Any updates on the book? Still no. I haven't signed a deal with someone to help me write my memoir, so I'm still struggling. Best thing about being a girl mom. Oh my God, these kids, they're so funny. They're so funny with their crowns and their glitter. And people think that being a girl mom is like tea parties and tutus and ballet. It is like a WWE smackdown in this house. They fight a lot, dude. Boys are not the only small children that fight, man. These girls are savages. But I just love them. I love their personalities, and I love watching them grow, and I love cooking with them, and I love these babies so much, you guys. Masturbation in prison. That is a whole video. Stay tuned. If you went to school again for a second degree, what would it be in?
Hell to the no. Hell to the no, no. No, no.
I'm never going back to school. I will not get my master's degree. Absolutely freaking not. No, 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 no. It was almost impossible for someone like me with ADHD to get through college. It was painful. There would be times where I would just be crying at the dining room table at the time with a baby on my chest and like the baby backpack, crying, trying to type this paper in a deadline-induced panic. And I can't do it. I won't do it. I hated it. I hated it. I hated school. A lot of times for entrepreneurs and people with ADHD, they're often the same. A lot of entrepreneurs have ADHD, but a lot of times for us, our brains don't work the same, and that kind of structure and deadline and schedule just is not good for me, and I was absolutely miserable, so I won't put myself through that, and I won't put my family through that again. But if I went back to school, I'm not going to. It would definitely be psychology and maybe even PhD, maybe even, get my doctorate to help people. Most controversial opinion. Oh no. That healthcare should be free? I know that makes people mad in this country. That inmates are humans. Addiction is a disease, but that's not an opinion, that's a fact that you can Google. I don't know if I have any controversial ideas that I haven't already shared on this channel. Will you be taking meds for ADHD, or are you going to treat it without meds? Great question. I take medicine for my ADHD. I will no longer white knuckle my mental health, and when I need help, I'm gonna go get it. So I am on medication for my ADHD. I will never say what that is because ADHD is already so gaslit and so misunderstood, but I will say there are plenty of options for medication for ADHD. There's stimulant medication, non-stimulant medication, and if you think medication for ADHD is an excuse to use drugs, you are so misinformed. Also, if you think ADHD is like squirrel, bro, that's not it. That's not it. Having ADHD is kind of like I can't think straight and I'm overwhelmed and stressed out because the lights are too loud. Or the TV's on and the kids are yelling and the dogs are barking and Reese is trying to talk to me, but I can't focus on any of that because the lights are loud and the TV is on and the kids are yelling and it's too much. There are parallels with autism and ADHD as well, like sensory issues. So anytime I mention any kind of sensory issue like that, people are like, it's autism. It's not. I'm properly diagnosed as ADHD. I have severe ADHD though. I get overstimulated or I get really anxious. ADHD has a lot of mood regulation issues and lack of serotonin and dopamine. ADHD looks like walking into a room for the 5th time having no idea what you're doing there. It looks like losing your keys over and over and over again. ADHD looks like not doing anything all day long because you have so many things to do that you can't do literally any of them. ADHD looks like not being able to go to work because the trash has to be taken out. You can't prioritize tasks and level of importance. There's so many things to ADHD that people just don't understand. And my daily life was so freaking unmanageable. It wasn't just about not being able to finish tasks. It was, I have 1,000 things started and nothing done. Or I hyper-focus on how to grow on a platform and then I don't shower. Bro, so medication has helped me manage that so much better. But I have to pair that with cognitive behavioral therapy so that I can get the tools that I need so that my day-to-day life is easier. Do you have any tattoos on your feet? I do not. What impact does it have on prisoners to wear a prison uniform while being locked up? Man, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. It's kind of a mental thing, you're in that uniform and you are less than us. But for me, the only thing that bothered me about wearing the uniform is that it never fit me right, so I always felt weird in it. I didn't need it to be tight, but they always gave me sizes that were too big, and I felt like they did that to dehumanize me and make me feel worse about myself. I don't know why, but they gave you the wrong sizes. I swear they do it on purpose, or maybe they just don't care, but it was super dehumanizing. For me, the thing that bothered me the most, besides it not fitting properly, was that we only get 3 uniforms, and we only do laundry once a week. Okay, so 3 pairs of underwear. So you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta wash the underwear out yourself. It's ridiculous. How much weed do you take daily? So I don't smoke every single day. Sometimes I'll go 2 or 3 weeks where I smoke every single night to sleep, and then I won't need it for a few days, and then I'll smoke, and then I won't need it for a few days. So I smoke as needed. So whenever my PTSD and my insomnia is really bad, or depression, that's when I smoke. So I smoke as needed. Now that could look like a month in a row of every day having to smoke, and then not smoking for 2 weeks, and then smoking for a day or 2, and then not smoking for another 3 weeks. I have been smoking less with Invisalign because when I smoke, I get hyper focused on my Invisalign and I feel like it's cutting into my gums, and then the rubber bands that I don't have in right now that I really need to have in, I feel like they're just cutting into my cheeks and I hate it. So I've been smoking less, or I smoke and then run to bed so that I'm not awake thinking about how bad it's bothering me. But even then it's hard to go to sleep when I'm focused on my mouth. So I've been smoking less these days.
Sad.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? I don't know. Maybe Italy or Thailand. Oh, Thailand. Or maybe Hawaii. But if I was to go to places like that, I would really want to learn about the culture and respect the culture. So that's why we're not going on our honeymoon to Hawaii, because when I go there, I want to go with the intent to learn and not disrupt. Do you ever struggle with relapsing thoughts? I get sad, I have depression, so my depression's my biggest trigger. So I might think about using, or I might think about a war story, but I'm not gonna go out and actively try to find drugs. Like, it's just not gonna happen. But do thoughts creep in, or do war stories come in, or do I have messed up dreams sometimes? Absolutely. And I'm 10 years in my recovery. The fact that I'm still having dreams sucks, but the dreams that I have, like nightmares or war story dreams or thoughts, they are less frequent than when I first found recovery. So that's good. When I, was a baby in recovery, a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years, those dreams and those thoughts were so frequent and so overwhelming that it was really hard. Now it's a little bit easier for me because when I do have a war story thought or a bad dream, I have a great support system. And I have Jason and I have Reese and I have Mindy. I have my friends that will help me, and they are so supportive and they'll listen to me if I'm, struggling. I didn't have that when I was a baby in recovery. I had to do it by myself. What is your biggest pet peeve about Reese and about your girls? The tea. I'll say my biggest pet peeve with Reese as a dad, he is the biggest softie and he very rarely tells them no. So we've had struggles where we're not on the same page, where the girls will come ask me for something and I'll be like, no, you can't have a cupcake before dinner. And then they'll go ask Reese and I'm busy with something, and Reese is like, yeah, yep, you can have a cupcake. And then he'll come out and I'm like, why is this kid eating a cupcake? He's like, what? I didn't know. She asked for it. Bro, it's 5 o'clock. She can't have a cupcake. I'm gonna make dinner. So just things like that. How do you say no to a 5-year-old that's like, can I please have a cupcake? They're so cute and they make them like that on purpose. That's my biggest pet peeve with my kids. They're adorable and it's hard to say no to them. I guess that's not a real pet peeve with the kids. Here's a good one. They put clean clothes in the laundry basket. They'll take something out of the dresser and then not want to wear it, and then they'll throw it in the hamper. Why? A pet peeve about Reese individually is that he wears his shoes in the house. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, he wears his shoes in the house. I hate it. But Reese also has PTSD and he's very used to wearing shoes all the time. So it's something that I hate it, but I'm not gonna get on his ass about it. You know what I mean? It's just something that you have to be always ready. So he is a combat war veteran, if you guys don't know. And this thing where you wear your shoes all the time, it's just a symptom of PTSD. When he first came home, he would wear his clothes to sleep. He would just go to sleep in his clothes and his shoes because that's what he did in the military. Over time, that has gotten better. He no longer sleeps in his clothes and he no longer sleeps in his shoes. So we're getting there. One day, I have hope. One day he won't wear his shoes in the house. And yes, I bought him house shoes. I'm trying. Was it difficult for you to become a drug dealer? It absolutely was not. If you have a surplus of anything in a poverty-stricken area, it doesn't matter what that is. It could be food. It could be cigarettes. People are gonna come and ask you for stuff, right? So I lived in a town that was 200% below the poverty line. People want to get high, and if you have stuff, they're gonna come to you. I was selling to grown adults, and I get that question a lot too, did you ever sell to kids? No, I was a kid selling to grown adults. I didn't sell to people my own age for years into being a dealer. Years. And then, when I was 18, 19, and 20, I started selling to people that I went to high school with, really popular people that I didn't think would ever become addicts. And we were the same age. I remember one specifically, he was a good friend of mine. I walked into a trap house and I saw him sitting there and I was like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I know what I'm doing here, but what are you doing here? And we didn't even say anything to each other that first time that we saw each other at a trap house. I kind of just walked past him and I was like, what the fuck? Got what I needed and then I left. And then slowly but surely he started to come to me for drugs. And he was a great guy. He was so talented and so handsome, football player. Everyone liked him. He was so funny. The last time I saw him, I was probably, 5 or 6 years into recovery, and I went home to visit New York, and I heard across the parking lot, Jesse, which is what they call me back then, and I immediately turned my head and it was him, and he said hi to me and he looked good and I thought he was doing good. And then, a couple of years ago, he passed away from an overdose. And it sucks that like I was at the time 7 or 8 years into my recovery and I couldn't help him. I think that's what hurts the most, is like I can help strangers a lot easier than I can help people that I know and love. And that hurts. That hurts your heart. It is the most difficult thing. I mean, I'm grateful that I get to help strangers. I am. I love what I do. I love working with a treatment center, and I love every single thing about, you know, working with groups and being able to encourage you guys. I just wish I could do the same thing for my friends and family. Prevention, or does it trigger you? Things don't really trigger me. I love Breaking Bad, so that's why I'm gonna watch Euphoria. But for me personally, like if they are shooting up, I close my eyes or I look away. And then when it's done, I go back to watching it. I don't like the show Intervention because they believe in tough love and like, we're cutting you off or kicking you out. You're gonna be homeless if you don't get sober. I don't think that that's a good idea. Now, has the show Intervention saved people's lives? Yes, it does work for some people, right? But that's not gonna work for everyone, which is literally just my whole pet peeve, is like you can't expect to go in and scream at someone and tell them that they're gonna be homeless and you're kicking them out of your life and then they're gonna wanna get sober. That doesn't work for everyone. And that's kind of the balance in helping addicts, is you have to figure out what is going to help that person, whether it's medically assisted treatment, abstinence, a 12-step program, God, in prison, which I hate saying that, but it has gotten people sober. That has been the wake-up call. Sometimes it's just a Thursday and they're tired. Cannabis and recovery, you know, like there's so many different pathways, but it's almost always figuring out what led you to use in the first place. Drugs is the surface level problem. Drugs is what we can see. The real problem is a lot deeper, and understanding what that is the key to long-term recovery success. How do you explain to your kids that you went to jail? I told them that I used to take things that made me sick because I was really sick. And because I was sick, I made some really bad decisions and I had to take responsibility for my actions. My kids are 9 and 5 and they understand to a point. They know that I was in jail. They know that Micah was born in jail. We have conversations like this all the time. I teach my kids emotional intelligence and bodily autonomy, and that there are consequences for our actions. I believe in gentle parenting, and I don't punish my kids for being mad or being angry. I'm not gonna ever punish them for their emotions. I'm teaching them how to handle their emotions. I actually believe in gentle parenting, and that's what I do in my household, so I will leave a video on the card up here if you guys wanna watch that. My parenting style. You said you were in debt as a dealer when you went to prison. Did that follow you after prison? No. So my dealer that I owed all that money to is serving life in prison, and when you're in that business, some things you just have to chalk up to the game. So if someone goes to prison, you're probably not gonna get that money back. It didn't follow me, and I've never had problems in my recovery with that specific person, and they're serving life in prison, so. All right, guys, I'm gonna end today's video here. Thank you guys so much for asking me all of those questions. I love doing Q&As. Someone did ask if I'm gonna do more live streams on here. I will schedule a live stream very soon. So be on the lookout on the community tab for an announcement for a live stream coming up. I'm not sure when I can do it, but I definitely will. If you guys want to see more Q&As, I will leave a playlist on the card up here. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It really helps out. Let's get that Millie plaque in 2022. But as always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you, because there's no wrong way to recover, and I will see you guys in my next one. Medication. I'm on medication for my mental health. Give me all the pills. I'm just kidding.